We're going to talk about something that's, well, honestly, it's pretty shocking. It's the story of how a tech expert, a guy who literally spots digital scams for a living, lost $13,000 to an online job offer.
And that's from Sam M., the man at the heart of this story. His words really hit home, don't they? That feeling when you're looking for work, it can put blinders on you, even when you're an expert.
And this is what makes Sam's story so scary, really. This isn't just a casual internet user. We're talking about a guy with 20 years in tech. He builds websites. He knows what to look for. And if it can happen to him, it can happen to absolutely anyone.
So what was the damage? $13,000 gone. Not from some crazy investment scheme, but from what he thought was a simple, legitimate part-time job. So the question is, how on earth did they pull it off?
So you've got to be asking yourself, how did this even happen? Let's get into it and break down how this incredibly sophisticated scam actually worked.
Okay, so let's look at the anatomy of this perfect trap. It all started with something that, on the surface, looked completely legit. Think about it. The guy who builds websites for a living looked at this website and saw nothing wrong. It was polished. It had a secure login, user authentication, all the right stuff. The pay wasn't even ridiculously high, which, just made it feel even more real. And here's how they reeled him in. It's a classic four-step playbook. First, the setup. They give him a trainer, make the tasks super easy just to get him comfortable. Then, the hook. They actually pay him a few $100. That builds the trust. Then, once he's bought in, they spring the trap. A weird, special product makes his account go negative. And finally, the squeeze. The trainer starts pressuring him, saying he has to deposit his own money to fix the balance and unlock all his earnings. It's a psychological game designed to make him feel like he can't walk away. And there it is. That's the quote that tells you everything. That first small payout, it wasn't just a few $100. For Sam, it was the proof he needed. It was the moment his skepticism just switched off and the trust switched on.
Now here's where it gets really alarming. Sam's story, it's not a one-off, not even close. It's part of this massive, exploding trend.
I mean, just look at this number, over 1,000%. That's the increase in job-related scams in just a 3-month window, according to McAfee. This isn't just a gradual rise. This thing is spreading like wildfire. And this isn't some distant problem. Nearly half of all Americans have either been targeted by a job scam themselves or they know someone who has. That means there's a really good chance this has touched someone in your life. And the scammers, they're getting so much smarter. They're not using sketchy, obvious language anymore. They're using words you'd expect to see from a real company, like resume and recruit. They're even using words like maternity or paternity to specifically target people looking for certain benefits. It's clever, and it's cruel. And maybe this is why it's getting so hard to keep up. On average, people are getting hit with about 14 scam messages every single day. Texts, emails, social media. I mean, who can possibly keep their guard up against that kind of constant bombardment? So we've talked about the money, but the true cost of this kind of fraud, it goes so much deeper than just your bank account. Okay, let's look at the numbers. Sam's 13 grand is a devastating amount of money, but even the average victim loses almost $1,500. And when you add it all up, we're talking about a $12 billion problem in 2024 alone. It's a massive crisis that's happening one person at a time. And this is what the scammers really steal from you. It's not just the money. It's the feeling of being furious, not just at them, but at yourself. You feel stupid. You feel exhausted. They completely steal your confidence. And that's the absolute cruelest part of this whole thing. These scams target people when they're already vulnerable, when they're out there looking for hope and a new opportunity. It just beats you down and makes you wonder if anything you're seeing is actually real. Okay, so hearing all this is tough. The big question is, what can we actually do about it? How can we keep ourselves and the people we care about safe? All right, first things first. The old school warning signs are still incredibly important to know. A real job is never, ever going to ask you to pay for anything upfront. Be really wary of super vague job descriptions or anyone pressuring you to act right now. And of course, if the salary seems way too good to be true, it probably is. But here's the thing Sam's story really drives home. Just trying to spot these things on your own isn't always enough anymore. On one hand, you have manual vigilance, where the pressure is all on you to catch every single red flag in every message. But with 14 scams a day, that's a tall order. On the other hand, you've got automatic protection, technology that can spot a sketchy link for you and warn you before you even have a chance to click. It's like having a security guard for your digital life. And that's really why Sam was brave enough to share this whole painful experience. He knows the money's gone, but he figures if telling people what happened to him can stop even one other person from falling into the same trap, well, then it's worth it. Which really leaves us with this one last thought, doesn't it? When the trap looks absolutely perfect, is your own experience really enough to save you? In a world where scams are getting this good, maybe real protection isn't just about what we know, but about the tools we use to help us see the things that our own eyes just can't.